Welcome one and all to another episode of the Crooke Candle Podcast. It is I, Ozzy Anteus, and Trejen is not here. He is actually absent today, and you may be wondering where he is. Well, he's actually in Oakland, California. And yeah, I know some of you people are probably going to be like, Oakland of all places, why go to Oakland? Well, that's actually where he lived for a long time, believe it or not. He actually lived in Oakland for a long time. And in fact, he's actually visiting his friend, longtime friend and childhood friend even, Dino Samisi, who we mentioned on the previous episode, was actually a part of the band Dystopia. And he's actually going to be doing an interview with him for the podcast. And he'll be our first interview segment on the podcast, period, actually. Yeah, he'll be the first one. So I'm actually looking forward to when that episode comes out. But yeah, welcome one and all. This is episode 14. It's just me today. It might be a short episode just because of the fact that, because I like to bounce off of another person. But since I'm doing this by myself, you know, I might not have as much to say. And because I'm going to be bouncing off of nobody today, it's going to be a little different. So I thought I would pick a topic that I could speak on for a bit at length, but chances are, don't be surprised if this episode's like 30 minutes or 40 minutes even. It might be a very short episode. So I'm going to try to keep this episode as long as possible, but we'll see what happens. So, yeah. So anyways, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing good. And as far as my week, it's been all right, although I've been kind of on the broke side of things, which, yeah, being a starving artist sucks. I've just to let you guys know where I'm at currently. Like, by the time the episode comes out, I'm probably gonna have, because next week I get paid. So, but yeah, my diet for the past 2 days or so has been nothing but oodles of noodles and rice and eggs, and that's been it. So yeah, that's not fun. In fact, I eerily recall a similar situation that me and Trejen talked about on this podcast in one of our earlier episodes. I can't remember which episode that was, but we talked about a story where I was taking his eggs, and I was too ashamed to tell him that I was. And the reason I only took his eggs was because it was the cheapest thing in the fridge I could think of that could sustain me without, pissing him off too much. But obviously that was not a good thing for me to do. Obviously, if you're in a situation like that, don't be too prideful. Even if it's embarrassing, ask for help if you need to. So, but right now, I'm fine, people. I'm able to sustain myself until I get paid again. So don't worry about it. But yeah, I'm doing good. Otherwise, I've been productive. I'm trying my best to I need to really get better with waking up early, because I've been trying to wake up early. Honestly, you know what sucks? It sucks when you're trying to get up early so you can do things, but then you work a job where it's like you work into the dead of night, and especially when you're working at a bar that's busy, it can go dead on to the dead of ass crack of the morning. And Bish, what are you doing? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, go lay down, bud. It's all good. Yes, lay right there. Yeah, you want to be a part of the podcast? Bishop, one of our dogs, is off on the side. I'm not sure if he's... Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Gonna be the podcast dog for the episode? What about you, Kyle? You want to get on the couch too? No, she wants me to throw the ball. No, I'm not throwing the ball. Stop it. I'm not going to do that. Not right now. But yeah, so yeah, Bishop's going to be the podcast dog. He's going to take the place of Trejen today. But yeah. So anyways, let's get into our topic for this podcast. Enough delays. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, I believe I wrote this down, if I remember correctly, on the Trello. finding the joy in your creativity and the importance of taking a step back and going back to the basics. I had to put the fucking screen up to my face because my eyes are shit, so I do apologize. I should just be wearing my glasses, my regular glasses, but whatever. I'm thinking about eventually getting contacts eventually. I'm actually thinking about doing that. I was thinking about getting another pair of glasses, but I'm also kind of thinking about just getting contacts, to be honest. Just because I'd like to be able to just not have to wear glasses, to be honest. Not that I have a thing against glasses, but whatever. But yeah, finding the joy in creativity. And the reason I put that down when I was writing down ideas for the podcast was because there was a period in time where and this is a thing I think a lot of creatives end up running into, is where they do creative shit or art, YouTube, podcasts, editing videos for clients or whatever, or just being a creative person overall. And they just lose the joy in what they were doing. And that's a very shitty thing to feel. It's a very shitty feeling to do something you like to do, and eventually you just stop finding the joy in it, and you just kind of you end up feeling like you don't want to do it anymore. When in reality, I think the thing is that if you do something on a long enough timeline, what will eventually happen is you will do something for so long, and you'll try to get more and more ambitious, and eventually you're going to hit roadblocks where you get more and more ambitious, but then you see less returns on your investment into what you're doing, that eventually you kind of, you become disappointed in what you're doing, and you just kind of get disillusioned. And I've experienced that many times throughout my creative, I would say, career, but I haven't been making any money doing creative shit. So this is why I kind of wish Dad was here, but yeah, Dad to me, Trejen to you. But unfortunately, what the fuck? Okay. So to kind of take a step back here, I guess I'll put out a anecdote for just to give you some ideas of what I'm talking about. So a great example I feel for me was, so I talked about my show Anime Hole that I do on YouTube, which I'm actually in the middle of finishing up the script for that. So eventually that will come out sometime in the future. I'm hoping to get it out by this month, but we'll see. It just depends on how busy things get this month, but I just need to schedule things better. But so Anime Hole is a great example for me. So in fact, the last video I did on that channel was for the anime Akira. And I wanted that video to be super special. And it was super special to me, and I really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. And the end product, I really enjoyed what I put out. It was really, really good. However, one of the things that I ended up running into, because that episode took months. That took a long time to make, like a long time. It was like that was something that was in the production pipeline for, months. And normally I'd try, at that point, I tried to get episodes at least a month or two apart. That, I want to say, took almost 4 to 5 months. Now, the reason it took that long mostly came down to the fact that, well, one, it was just a very ambitious video where I tried to take a deep dive into the anime Akira. But at that time, I was actually transitioning from one apartment to the other. I mentioned on previous episodes, we talked about the dollhouse down in University District. We used to live there. Shitty apartment complex. Really horrible. Do not live there. If you ever decide to move to Seattle, it's a cheaper place to live, but even then, I would say it's not worth it. Just for the price, especially, it's just not worth it. So yeah, I would not recommend it. Period. but yeah, I was transitioning from that apartment complex to here. So we moved all our shit, and then I had to find another job, and I had to do all this other stuff. So there's a lot of things going on, but eventually I did finish it. I was very, very careful with the script and making sure that I covered all my angles and all that stuff, and just made sure the video was as polished of a video as possible. And eventually what ended up happening was like 4 months later. First of all, like I launched the video. It didn't get that many views, unfortunately. It got like, 200 views last I remember. But then a few months later, because I actually decided to take a break from Anime Hole, because that episode really took it out of me. And, in fact, like I was working on this new episode, Lily, the anime Lily Cat. And I was working on, or I was, trying to work on that episode. I was getting everything ready, but eventually I just hit this roadblock, or I just hit this point where I was kind of like, I just didn't feel the enthusiasm. I didn't feel the enthusiasm to want to do it. And I didn't know why, because I liked doing the thing. I liked finishing the projects. I liked doing that. But there was something in my soul where it just felt like just hard to want to get back into the flow of doing that again. Because, and I think part of that just came down to the fact that, because to be fair, to give you some context, when I worked on that Akira project, working on the review for Anime Hole, I worked on 2 previous like big episodes, like one of which being Ninja Scroll, and then directly after that, Pat Labor 2 or something like that. Or no, I think it was I did Wind Named Amnesia, and then I worked on what was it? Wind Named Amnesia, and then Pat Labor 2, which that was actually the video that was the most popular, and that was the one that actually got my channel to get subscribers and get people to watch my channel. So that was actually really, really awesome. And yeah, I know.
Boring. Nerd!
Yeah, call me a nerd. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, that video did well. And I kind of, in fact, what I was trying to do at that time, because I did Pat Labor 2, and I think I went straight into Akira, and that was a mistake. That was a huge mistake. In fact, my plan initially was to do Akira, and then after that, do Ghost in the Shell, which I'm glad I'm not doing that. I'm glad I decided not to do that, because that was a bad idea if I was going to do that, just because it was going to be, because just doing Akira alone was a huge process. So imagine going from that and then doing Ghost in the Shell after that. That would be even more of a time sink and a waste of, or not waste of energy, but expenditure of energy and mental capacity. But yeah, I ended up just kind of feeling this kind of non-desire to want to continue to make the new episode. And I wonder why that was. And then what ended up happening was, because I had this other channel called the Nerd Dork at the time, but eventually I was like, I want to rebrand that channel. I kind of want to get back to doing like gaming content again, because it's been a long time, and I like talking about video games, and I think that's fun, and I want to make smaller videos. So eventually I started doing that again. It's called Accept. That's my other channel that I do, aside from this one, from the Crooke Candle Podcast, and my Anime Hole channel. I do the channel called Accept, which is just me talking about video games and playing video games and whatnot. And it's been a lot of fun just editing some videos together. I've been having a good time with it. And it was at that point I started to really feel the energy come back to want to do videos again. And in fact, it was because of that channel and doing these smaller videos that didn't take that much time to edit. In fact, those videos alone actually made me want to get better at doing, doing some more editing tricks and doing some certain editing tricks that I've never done before, and just kind of learning new things on the way. And because of doing those smaller projects, I actually got the energy to get back, and I found the joy in doing and editing videos again and making videos again. And since then, I've actually been working on the Lily Cat video. The reason that one's taking a little bit longer, though, is because that's much more of a time sink. So obviously, analyzing and reviewing a thing is a little bit harder than just editing a video together. That's easy to put together and doesn't take that much energy. That being said, doing the smaller projects helped me get into that. So this gets into the topic of finding the joy again in what you do. Because and why I think ultimately, I think what causes artists to lose the joy in what they do, I think a lot of the time comes down to the fact that they put in so much energy. Because like they'll start off small, right? Like a lot of artists do this. They start off small, or a lot of creatives and artists start off small, and then, you know, and do these small little pieces of art or whatever, drawings, doesn't matter. And they start off small because they're trying to learn the craft. They're trying to get better and better and better. But eventually they get very ambitious. They start to get good and confident in their skills. And they get more and more ambitious. And they get these ideas in their head like, oh, I want to go big. I want to go big. I want to do this. It's like, because, for example, Trejen, like he talks about his paintings a lot and doing painting. Like that's something he really wants to do. And yeah, it's like, imagine if you were a painter. And you start off with these small paintings, these small, simple paintings, but eventually you get better with your craft that you can make very much more detailed pieces of art. And eventually you go bigger and bigger, bigger canvases, more paints, more colors, you know, just more detail, all that kind of shit. I think what eventually causes people to lose the joy in what they do is eventually, in fact, it kind of goes into the topic we had the last episode. We talked about when does your creativity, when does art and, you know, trying to make art a job, like when does that become a job? When does your hobby become a job? And really, I think it becomes a job when you're putting in all this energy and time into doing what you love. That's when it becomes a job. And it's not just, and when I say a job, I think people go to literal, like, and thinking that, well, for it to be a job, you need to be paid. And yeah, in a sense you do. But in a way, if you're trying to be a self-sufficient, like a businessman or something like that, or trying to make money, being your own boss and stuff like that, it's a job. You're working. Even if you're not getting paid, it's still a job. You're still putting in energy into trying to make what you do a living. And Kali, I'm going to have to get that butt plug because she does that a lot. Where she causes the ball to go right under the couch, and then she'll try to look for it again. She'll start whining and going crazy. Yeah, you need to stop doing that, girl. You do that to yourself. It's a good thing it's not the round one. Otherwise, that would have just rolled right under the couch, and I wouldn't have felt bad about it. But yeah, so... And what ends up happening is you get so good that eventually you do these bigger projects, but it takes a lot out of you. It really does. And I can speak from experience, whether it was drawing or my YouTube YouTube videos, the podcast, you know, it takes a lot of energy out of you. It really does. And what sucks even worse is when you put in all this energy, like you try to make your magnum opus, right? And in your head, you're like, I'm going to make my magnum opus and it's going to be great and it's going to be glorious and everyone's going to love it. You know? So in my case, like that would be my Akira video or my Pat Labor 2 video initially, where I spend all this time and energy into making this thing and making it as good as possible. And I'm like, fuck yeah, it's the shit. It's going to land and people are going to love it. It's going to blow up. But then you upload it, and guess what? It doesn't blow up. So imagine taking all that energy and time into doing something you love, and then eventually it doesn't pay off the way you thought it did. And not only that, but even that, it doesn't even necessarily need to be that. It could even land, or it can get a good amount of attention. But you'll think about the next project, and you'll go, God damn, I put in all this energy and I'm mentally drained. Because if you've ever worked on a big project, you can feel mentally exhausted and drained. And it can make you dread wanting to get into the next project. And sometimes that could actually be very detrimental because when you're trying to make this a living, especially, like the last thing you want is to not feel joy or to not feel desire to do the thing that is making you your money. Especially if it's something you would rather be doing, because now, and that can go down two different paths too. That can go down two totally different paths. Because here's the thing, there's a very real reality where there's path A and path B. Path A being you do something for so long that you used to enjoy or you do enjoy and you want to do, but eventually you do it long enough on a long enough timeline that eventually you kind of go down. You get to the end of the road and there's these two paths you can go down. And what ends up happening is you either go down the path of, I need to take a break. I'm mentally drained. I just want to kind of not do this for a while and then eventually get my mojo back, as Austin Powers would say. I need to get my mojo back, And, and just eventually, recharge your batteries and then eventually you get back into it. And that's how it is for a lot of creatives. But then there's path B where some people will do that on a long enough timeline where eventually they're just so drained from it that they just don't want to do it anymore. And and here's the thing, that's a totally legitimate path to go down. Because here's the thing, you can fall out of love with something. It's the same with having a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or wife. You end up being in love with somebody for so long that eventually you will fall out of love with them. Whether it's because of, and they could be a great person. They could be the most awesome person you've ever met in your life. But even then, you just feel the fire and the passion is not there anymore. And sometimes that just comes with age. That's just the reality. I mean, that's why people end up retiring from things. They have the fire and the passion when they're younger and they do it for a long enough time period. They get their money, but eventually they just don't feel it anymore. And they just go, maybe it's time to retire. Maybe it's time to clock out, put in my punch ticket and get out of here and never come back, put in my 2 weeks, so to speak. Same with jobs, actually. A great example is like just working regular 9 to 5s. There are plenty of people that will quit a job after like a year or two because they just don't feel the desire to be there anymore. They've been there long enough and they don't see any growth in their position. So they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. So they quit their job and leave, look for something better. And that's usually how it is for creatives. Now, so to me, what is the solution? Because I explained how I would I fell out of joy of doing video editing, and here's the thing, the solution for me when I did the Akira review, and I was done with that, and I wanted to get back into doing videos again and working on the next Anime Hole project. I just felt drained. I felt really drained from doing that. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to make another episode. Especially after too, when 4 months later, literally my Akira review ends up getting blocked worldwide. Like it gets blocked, everywhere. Like nobody can see it. And even though it was up for like 4 months, like that was so depressing when that happened, when that video got blocked.
Disappointed!
It was just really disappointing to see that happen, It sucked.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
And the hell of it is, it's like I put in all that effort. So like when that shit happens, it definitely can drain you even more because you're spending all this energy thinking about how you wasted all this time and energy on something that eventually just kind of didn't pay off at all. And then worse, had salt rubbed in the wound, so to speak. And, that shit can really depress you and make you not want to work on the thing you love to do. But I think the solution for a lot of artists, and I just to kind of explain the two paths that people can go down. The solution for most artists when they lose the joy in doing art or creativity or being a creative person or doing stuff like video editing or whatever, or doing a podcast even. I think the thing that causes people to quit is that you do something so long that eventually you're gonna drain your batteries. You're just gonna drain your energy from doing a thing. Because there's a law of diminishing returns for everything. That is a very real thing. The law of diminishing returns is a very real thing, and that can be very detrimental to anybody. And that's not a good thing. But or it could be. It could be depending on how you look at it. But some people, it's like they don't want to fucking quit. In my case, I don't want to quit doing YouTube videos or doing the podcast or doing anything like that. I want to continue doing that. So what causes me to want to get back into it? I found the solution to getting back into doing something you love just from my experience. And I kind of wish Dad was here, Trejen, so that he can kind of give me his 2 cents. But yeah, I think the thing that got me back into finding the joy again in doing my videos and doing video editing and stuff like that was doing those small projects. Doing those small little projects, learning how to do new editing techniques, just doing new things, small little projects where I can just invest a little bit of time into making a quick little video that's like 10 to 20 minutes, playing a game or something like that. And then once I'm done with it and I put it out, I feel good. And I'm not even giving a shit too much about whether it gets 1,000 views. It's just I want to get something out and feel good about the end result. And because it didn't take that much energy out of me, I felt good about doing it because and it's the same even with like doing paintings or art. Sometimes to go back into doing a big painting again, sometimes you need to do a few little smaller paintings, to work your way back up. Because doing big projects can really drain you, like a lot. It could really drain the life out of you because you put in so much energy into a thing that it sucks the life out of you. It really does. So if you ever find yourself in that position where it could be you're making a YouTube video or you're making this big project, whatever it is, and then you're done with it and you thinking about the next big project, but you're dreading doing it. You're like, oh, I don't know if, you put it off, you procrastinate, you don't want to do it. Instead of going back into the next big project, do one small little project. It's like even with filmmakers, like there's plenty of filmmakers that are accomplished where they'll do a really big film, a big blockbuster that they get the budget for. Before they get back into another big blockbuster, they might just do a small little short film because it's easier. It doesn't take that much energy, but you can make something good with something that is on a smaller budget and, not as big in scope, or just take a break. That's also a totally legitimate option too. Or maybe you just fell out of love with it. And that's okay. If you fall out of love with something you've done for so long as a passion project or as a hobby or whatever, or even if it's a job, sometimes the right answer is if you're not feeling it anymore, clock out, put in your 2 weeks and leave. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. Like I said in the last episode, I actually made a short where I actually did a quick little edit where I found Alan Watts was the guy I quoted in the last podcast. Because we talked about, I think, was it episode 12? Which episode was it where we talked about drugs? I think it was episode 12, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it was episode 12. Yeah, I quoted Alan Watts because there's a famous Alan Watts quote. And it was or it's a well-known quote, maybe not a famous quote, but Alan Watts, for those who don't know, is a huge proponent in psychedelics. Like, he did a lot of studying on mushrooms and psilocybin and and stuff like that. So, and someone actually asked him about because there are definitely people that will do like psychedelics, do mushrooms, and they just don't want to do it again. And some people try to guilt those people. Oh, you're just afraid. But his response to that was like, no, sometimes you could do mushrooms for once. You could do mushrooms once in your time, have such a psychedelic trip that you don't want to do it again. And sometimes the reason why is because that's all you need sometimes. Some people, all they need is one trip. That's why there's that quote where when you get the call, hang up the phone. Or when you get the message, hang up the phone. The reason why he said that is because sometimes the best answer when you do something for the first time and you just don't feel the desire to do it again, it's probably because you already got the message that you don't need to do it again. You already tried it. In fact, I have a great example. I've done comedy before. I've done two open mics before. And I was actually going to do a third one in Seattle, but I decided not to. In fact, I was on the days leading up to, because I actually had a date picked out of when I was going to do it. I was actually telling people about the fact that I was going to do a open mic and all that. I was going to do it again. And I was actually coming up with bits to do, and I was practicing them. And in fact, I came to this conclusion while I was practicing the bits that I wrote down. It was in the middle of doing those practice runs where I kind of just had this epiphany, because sometimes that just happens where you're doing a thing and eventually you just having a light bulb moment, and you just go, I don't think this is for me. And that's what happened to me. I was literally at the university campus practicing my bits. And I just kind of had this light bulb moment where I'm like, I don't think comedy's for me. Because I just didn't feel it. I just didn't feel it in my bones. Now, if I really wanted to do comedy, if I did comedy those 2 times and I just felt the real desire to do it, I would have pushed through that. I would have done it over and over and over again until I got it right. And eventually the time would have come where I go up on that stage and I do my open mic and I might bomb. But I did it because I like doing that. But it was in that case where I came to that conclusion while I was practicing my bits where I was like, you know what? This ain't for me. And I clocked out. I decided to just go back to doing other things. But I was proud that I did it anyway. I was proud that I tried it out. You know why? Because I got the experience of knowing that, because the worst thing you could do is try something out or not, or want to try something out, want to do something, but then you don't do it because you're scared. So then what ends up happening is you die not knowing if you would have been good or great at doing that thing, or maybe you wouldn't have wanted to do it, but you would have had the experience if you did it, but you chose not to do it. And now you have this regret where you didn't do a thing and you won't know. Honestly, the worst thing that could happen to a person is dying on their deathbed, not knowing how their life would have turned out had they not done a thing they wanted to do. I hope I said that right, but I'm pretty sure you understand what I'm saying. So, but yeah, man, sometimes quitting is the thing you need to do. Sometimes that is the right option. Sometimes the only winning move is not to play. But for those who are just thinking to themselves, well, I don't want to quit. I still like doing this. I just feel reluctant. I don't feel the enthusiasm. Start off by doing smaller projects or just take a break. Sometimes that's the right thing to do. Take a break and go do another hobby, because have more than one hobby, especially. Don't just have one thing you're doing, because honestly, that's the biggest trap, is when you're doing just one thing and that's all you do, but you lose the enthusiasm. And I think that's what causes people to, I think that's what causes people to fall off the wagon, is they don't have anything else. So they can't just take a break from what they're doing because that's all they have. And that's what causes them to probably quit prematurely. And they probably didn't want to quit, but they just lost the enthusiasm. And, they didn't have anything else to fall back on. So, yeah, have other hobbies. If you don't feel the enthusiasm for what you're doing right now, but you want to get back into it later, sometimes you just need to take a break. And then once you do that, just work, start on, and once you come back to it, start on some smaller projects, start on something small, and then eventually one day you'll get back into it and you'll get better. And or not even just get better, but you'll work your way up to doing bigger projects, and you'll find that enthusiasm again. You will. You can. It's very possible. I've done it. I know Trejen's done it. In fact, next episode I might actually bring this topic up again, just to kind of dig at his head a little bit, or maybe not. Maybe he won't want to. So that's totally fine. But yeah, that's kind of really. How long have we been going? Oh, for about 38 minutes or so. Or that might not be 38 minutes because I hit the record button on the camera and then I hit the record button on the podcast mixer. So yeah, I don't know how long this podcast is going to be, but yeah, I don't really have much else to add. But yeah. If you fall out of if you fall out of love with something, or you kind of lose the enthusiasm for something, take a break, and then eventually come back, do some smaller projects. And if you don't feel the enthusiasm for that thing again, maybe the right answer is just to walk away. Or if you do feel the enthusiasm again, then get back into it. If you love something, if you truly love something, you will get back into it again, and you'll get back. It's like falling off a bike. You fall off that bike, what do? You get back on the bike. You fall off the horse, get back on the horse. It happens. It happens to the best of us. So, but yeah, this is a very short episode. I'm sorry. If I was with Trejen, this probably would have been longer, and I didn't really have much else to. Well, most of the topics on the Trello here were topics that I definitely want to do with Trejen, not just myself. So, but this one I thought was fine because I had some insight to give as far as this topic, and I thought it was interesting. So, but yeah, that's really it for this episode of the Crooke Candle Podcast. Thank you guys for joining me in this very different episode, just because of the fact that Trejen's not here. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I did good enough to please your ears. Yeah, it's, because I like being able to bounce off another person, especially with Trejen, because we have such good rapport and he has some things to say that I think are very interesting, and I like, the conversations we have. So, yeah, hopefully this wasn't boring to you. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. I'll try to edit down a lot of the dead space if there is any, but yeah, thank you for listening to the episode of the podcast. This was episode 14 episodes. We're almost halfway through to 20 episodes. So, but yeah, the next episode, I'm pretty sure is going to be the interview with Dino Samisi from Dystopia. So, pay attention to that. That's going to be coming up soon. In fact, I'm really looking forward to doing that one. I'm really looking forward to editing the footage and doing all that, because I think that'll be really awesome to see. And I actually haven't seen Dino in forever. Like, I remember the last time I saw him was back when I was a kid. So yeah, I think that episode will rock your socks especially if you were a fan of Dystopia. Yeah, that'll be a great episode. I'm pretty sure it will be. I'm just hoping the footage that Dad gives me is usable. I'm pretty sure it will be. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Crooke Candle Podcast. As always, if you want to follow us, send us a DM or whatever. Links to everything, our social media pages, our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter. All that is down below in the description. bio.link/Crooke and Candle, all one word. Crooke has an E at the end, and is just A-N-D, no ampersand symbol. So, also you can find the directories to all the links to everything, our YouTube page, our our distribution pages for like Spotify and all that, iTunes, everything. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day, night, when it makes you happy, and I'll see you guys next time on the next episode of the Crooke Candle Podcast. And next time, Trejen will be here, I promise you. So, anyways, have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.